Welcome everyone. My name is Hemu and today's we are here for discussing the Palo Alto Firewall fast track batch. And today's class just a demo class, but in today's class what I will cover the advanced architecture of Palo Alto Firewall high availability. Okay, so we will go through with the Palo Alto HA configuration first. Once configuration will complete, I will basically walk you through this particular diagram, and if you know that diagram you can able to troubleshoot the HA related problems easily. Okay, and I will go through with that, like how system daemon from firewall 1 will communicate with the system daemon with the firewall 2, how the HA agent on firewall 1 will communicate with the HA agent on the firewall 2, right? Because these are the two daemons who play the major roles in the HA formation. How basically they exchange the HA libraries, right? Like user ID cache, your FIP table details, your DSCP lease time, your FQDN refresh, DNS cache, right? Then how PAN DHA daemon, which is a part of your data plane, will communicate with the PAN DHA daemon in the firewall 2. What is the reason why we want to stay with this type of communication, right? So all these things I'm going to cover. So let me just go through with the other detail first. So guys, this particular training is around 45 plus hours of training. You will get the lifetime interview support. So in case you have an interview, you can inform us around 4 or 5 days before. We will take a mock interview in this case, and we will also guide you through the interview process. You will get the documents. You will get the lifetime recorded videos through my video portal. We will help you with the lab setup on your laptop. If your laptop is not sufficient, then we will help you over the Google Cloud, which is GCP. It's a weekends batch. During the class, you can also able to discuss the practical issues, which whatever you are facing in your live environment, in your office environment, or if any issue you are facing with the lab, we can able to discuss. And guys, after this particular training or during this training, you can also reach out to us from Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is the dedicated time on weekdays for any type of other support, basically. Okay, so these are the things which you will get in this particular training. As I have mentioned, this particular training I will start from 29th of June, and it's a weekends batch. So your classes will happen Saturday, Sunday, and timing is starting from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. IST. And during this particular window, we will having a around 60-minute of break. Okay, and this particular entire training I will cover in 10 classes. So I have mentioned 10 days. Generally, it's around 5 weeks of training. So it is some type of boot camp. Just remember. Now let me just go through with the course content. What are the things I'm going to cover in this particular training? So this particular training I will start explaining the platform and architecture. In platform and architecture, I will basically discuss what are the Palo Alto Firewall hardware models we are having, what are the virtual appliance we are having, right? All such type of platforms, like what is the use of PA 200 series, then we have a PA 400 series nowadays, right? Then we will discuss PA 800 series, then we have a new series which is PA 1400 series, then we have a Palo Alto 3200 series, then we have a Palo Alto 3400 series, right? Then we have Palo Alto 5200. Now 5200 is replaced by 5400 series. Then we have a Palo Alto 7000 series, right? So I'm going to discuss all these particular series, and I will tell you which model you have to basically suggest for which type of organization. Okay. Then in the architecture, I will going to cover the SP3 architecture. Single pass software and parallel processing hardware, and this particular architecture I will cover in depth at the chip level on your Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, I will go through with the packet flow, which is a flow logic or the life of a packet inside the Palo Alto. In this particular section, I will also cover life of a session. How when Palo Alto Firewall create a session, what is the life cycle of this particular session? How Palo Alto Firewall maintain that session, right? Sometime maybe who has worked with Palo Alto, you know why we used to get this message like aged out in your traffic logs, why we used to get the message like unknown, why we used to get the message like TCP fin. What are the reason of these messages? So I will cover everything. Okay. Once this flow logic will complete, and guys, this flow logic I will cover according to the PAN-OS 11, the latest series. Then I will go through with the initial configuration, how we can basically do the initial configuration on your Palo Alto firewall, right? How we can able to configure the management interface of your Palo Alto firewall with the IP address, domain name, how we can configure host name, default gateway, DNS settings, NTP setting, all these type of stuff. How we can basically do the initial access of the system. How we can able to manage the firewall, right? What are the CLIs ways to access the firewall? What is the GUI ways? How we can access the file with the help of GUI? If you have an integration with the API, how we can able to access, right? So all these things I'm going to cover. Configuration management, how we can basically do the config management, how we can take the backup of the configuration, right? How we can do the rollback, how we can upload, how we can basically export the configuration. So all such type of things I'm going to discuss in your configuration management. And when I will discuss this config management, that time I will also go through with the commit process. I will go through with the commit walkthrough. In commit, what we have couple of phases, like what is the meaning of phase 0, what is the meaning of phase 1, what is the meaning of phase 2, right? What is the daemons involved in this commit process, right? How this management server daemon involves in this process, what is the use of config daemon, right? So all these things I'm going to cover. Then I will go through with the license and software updates, how we can manage the license of your Palo Alto firewall through the support portal, how we can download the license from the support portal, how we can basically activate the license using the auth code, right? All these things I'm going to cover. How we can basically download the software updates, how we can upgrade the Palo Alto devices. So all these things I will cover in your software updates class. Then we will go through with the account administration, how we can able to create the accounts for different admins, right? How we can integrate your Palo Alto file with the Active Directory or with the Radius server, right? And how we can use these Active Directory or Radius server database, and how we can able to create the different admin accounts, right? How we can create account for L1 engineers, L2 engineers, L3 engineers, right? Or any type of contractor, how we can able to do that. How we can basically restrict the access inside your Palo Alto firewall, right? So all these things I'm going to cover in your account administration. Like we will discuss the different types of admin roles, how we can configure, right? Once this part will complete, I'll move towards the interface configuration. Your security zone configuration. What is layer 2 deployment? What is layer 3 deployment? What is virtual wire deployment? What is tap mode deployment, right? We will having a dedicated classes or dedicated labs for these type of deployments. Even though I will more focus towards the layer 3 deployment and the virtual wire deployment, because these are the two deployment which is preferred by most of the organization. Around 99% customers preferred L3 deployment, but there are a few customers which like 1% which can also go with the virtual wire deployment. And I will go through what is the main use case of this vWire deployment. Okay. I will go through with the concept of sub interfaces, how we can make firewall as a DSCP server, how we can make firewall as a DSCP relay agent, or how we can make firewall as a DSCP client. So all these things we will cover here. Then I will discuss the virtual routers. Because in Palo Alto firewall, if you want to configure any type of routing related things, we have to deal with the virtual routers. We have to create a virtual router. If you have a multiple virtual router, then how we can basically allow the communication between these virtual routers? What is the use case, right? So this particular thing I'm going to cover here. And guys, most of the things whatever we have discussed, I will cover using the graphical user interface plus using the CLI as well. Because if you are working in a enterprise customers who is having their sites across the globe, then you have to deal with the CLI as well a lot. You have to make the configuration template using this CLI, right? And I will help you how you can make able to make these templates. Okay. Then once this part will complete, I will move toward the security policy as a net policy, which is a heart of your Palo Alto firewall, right? We have a firewall just because of these two main features. Because these security policy we will use for allowing the traffic and denying the traffic, right? And this network address translation we will use for configuring the or for allowing the communication between the private network and the public network, or between the private IPs and the public IPs. Without net policies, we cannot able to achieve that task, right? So I will discuss, like I will discuss around 6 to 7 use cases of your net policies, where I will focus more towards your DNet, because you will see most of the use cases with regards to destination net, and I will cover all the use cases. I will cover your U-turn net use case here. I will basically cover your source net, your port address translation, which is PAT, how PAT happens on your Palo Alto firewall. So everything we are going to discuss here. In security policy, how we can able to create a security policies, right? How we can do the policy administration, how we can do the policy optimization, right? In net, source net, destination net. So I will take around 2 dedicated classes just for explaining these two features. When this part will complete, I'll move towards the app ID, which is a core feature of your PAN-OS. Palo Alto Firewall gain a huge market cap because when Palo Alto has been launched in 2005, it was the first firewall who has a support of app ID based policies. This is the only firewall who supported the application based policies. And just within 3 years of span in 2008, Palo Alto Firewall become the #1 firewall, and it start leading the firewall industries. Until today, Palo Alto Firewall is the market leader in the firewall domain. Okay. So we will discuss app ID overview. I will go through how app ID happens for your TCP traffic, how app identification happens for UDP traffic, what is the app ID cache, right? Everything. What is app ID signatures, how we can create application groups, or how we can create application filters, and we can able to block the large application, or we can allow the traffic for large application. Here I will also help you how we can able to create the custom application, because Palo Alto have a support of around 4700 applications as of now. But if you have a some application and these are your internal application, right? In that case, you can able to create the custom applications, and you can also able to configure the application override. So I will also tell you how we can able to configure the application override with the help of these custom app. Okay, and these apps I will going to create and I'm going to explain. When this part will complete, I'll move towards the content identification. This content ID generally protect us from the viruses. Means it has a antivirus protection, anti-spyware protection, vulnerability protection, URL filtering, extra dynamic list, file blocking, which is your wildfire as well here. So these particular features comes under your content ID. And guys, generally most of the attack, just tell me one thing on the chat. Let's take an example. I have one PC here and we have one server here, and let's suppose it's a web server running the service on TCP port 443. And now whatever the data I'm having on this web server, let's suppose now on that data I want to inject some type of virus. Now guys, tell me one thing. When this PC try to access this particular server, how this particular virus travels till this PC? Where? It is at layer 3, or it is at layer 4, or it is at layer 7? At which layer this particular virus present according to the OSI or TCP model, TCP IP model? So I got a correct answer from Alok. It is a layer 7 capability, right? And guys, most of the time whenever we talk about the virus or spywares or the vulnerabilities or the URL filtering, right? Or your wildfire, which protect us from the unknown malwares or the malicious phishing domains. See, all these comes under the layer 7 only, right? And how we can able to apply this particular protection at layer 7, and how your inside your Palo Alto firewall we have a one chip which is known as Jaguar chip. Okay, this is a one of the dedicated component inside your Palo Alto firewall, which is a Jaguar chip. It's just a field programmable gateway array. It is also known as ASIC. You know, this is the chip who will basically perform all your layer 7 related things. Means threat scanning is done by this particular Jaguar chip. Now inside this Jaguar chip, we have a two algorithm. First one is DFA, then we have a AHO. Okay, and we have a one more latest algorithm which is PScan. Now these are the algorithm which is running inside this Jaguar chip and who will basically do all these layer 7 protection. And I am going to cover that part as well, how your Jaguar chip will perform all these tasks actually. So I will give you the idea on it basically. Okay, once this part will complete, so around I need around 2 to 3 classes to cover everything, because there is a lots of practicals I am going to perform. I will launch couple of attacks, like I have a couple of malicious files on my Kali Linux machine, right? So from these Kali Linux machine I will try to download these files, or I will have a couple of vulnerable machine on my infrastructure and I will try to exploit these vulnerabilities. So I will show you how we can exploit them. Then once we have a firewall, then how we can able to protect from the firewall. So let me just show you. If you will see, starting from here till here, all these are the vulnerable machines, right? And I will pick couple of machines and I will try to launch the live attacks in front of you, and I will show you how we can gain the access. Like I can download one of the malicious file like VLC player or the Microsoft, I can say Office 365 run. I will try to exploit that vulnerability, or maybe I will run some services like BSFTPD, right, which is a FTP service, right, and I will try to exploit that service. So it comes under the vulnerability protection, right? So I will launch all these attacks and we will see how we can able to get the protection. Okay, now once this part will complete, see, we can able to protect from the layer 7 attacks, right, using the content ID. Now, how we can able to protect if somebody is launching the attacks using the layer 3 information or using the layer 4 information, like somebody is doing the flooding. Let's suppose I have launched the SYN flood attack, or I am doing the host sweep attack, or I can say IP spoofing attack. How I can basically protect from these type of attacks like ICMP flood attack, UDP flood attack, right? I will modify the headers of my IP header and I can send this particular modified packet, right? How we can able to protect from these type of attacks. Or let's suppose somebody is trying to exploit one of the vulnerability which is available at the buffer level. Like you have heard the name of buffer overflow attack. Anyone? How we can able to like protect from such type of attacks actually. Okay, so for these attacks we have to discuss most of the things with regards to zone protection and DOS protection policies. They will protect us from this layer 3 and layer 4 DOS attacks or the flooding attacks. Okay, or the IP spoofing attacks, right? So I will launch these type of attacks and we will see how firewall is protecting from such type of attacks. When this part will complete, nowadays, you know, most of the applications, they are secured via HTTPS. Even though if you will access the torrent website is also nowadays on HTTPS, right? Now, see, if let's suppose this particular PC is connecting with one of the server here. Let's say it's a torrent server, hosted their services on TCP 443. Now what will happen when they will communicate? When they make a connection, they will create a SSL tunnel, right? Right or wrong? They used to create this SSL tunnel, right? Now inside this tunnel, whatever data they will access, this data is not visible, right? Let's suppose we have a firewall here. Is my firewall able to detect if there is any type of malicious content is going on? No, it will not able to detect, right? So what we have to do, we have to work with the SSL decryption. And to implement this SSL decryption, you have to know the SSL handshake, how SSL handshake works. You have to know how to, what is the use of certificate, what is the root CA, what is root certificate, what is the intermediate root certificate, what is the end user certificate, how we can create these certificate, right? You have to know these details. What is the CR, certificate signing request, CSR, right? We have to understand all of them. Once you have the understanding of these terminologies, now what we can do, I will discuss how we can basically configure the outbound SSL decryption. Means whatever traffic going out from your inside environment towards the internet, how we can decrypt that packet if my users they are communicating with any of the servers which is hosted over SSL. So what firewall will basically, when he receive a packet, he will decrypt that packet, he will analyze it, and he will forward. When reply will come, firewall again decrypt it, analyze it, and re-encrypt it, and it will forward. How we can able to configure this SSL outbound decryption? Then how we can able to configure SSL inbound decryption? Means let's suppose we have couple of servers in our DMZ zone, and let's suppose some users from internet they want to access these servers, right? How we can decrypt that type of traffic as well? Okay, so we will see all these particular practicals. And after that, nowadays guys, most of the attacks are happening through this SSL, sorry, through this SSH. People used to create this SSH tunnels actually, and they can able to access all the malicious websites. Very simple. What you can able to do? See, let's suppose you are in your office environment, and let's suppose there are a couple of websites which is blocked in your organization firewall. What you can do? You can go over the AWS, host one EC2 machine. That machine is accessible via SSH. Take the access of this machine via SSH. Create the SSH tunnel, and you can able to access any of the website. Your organization firewall, when he will see the traffic, he will see you are accessing the traffic on port 22, which is SSH, but in actual you are accessing the traffic inside this secure tunnel. You are accessing the malicious content as well, or the illegal content which is blocked in your organization, right? So I will also go through this particular lab. Okay, I will create this SSL tunneling, and I will configure the policies, and I will tell you how we can able to achieve that task. When this part will complete, I move towards the user ID, user identification. How we can basically configure the user based policies, how we can do the active directory integration using the LDAP protocol. What is the use of users to IP mapping? What is the Palo Alto or PANOS user ID agent? All these particular practicals we are going to discuss in your user ID. And guys, one more thing, one more practical I used to do here, which is captive portal. Captive portal is not mentioned here, so I will also cover your captive portal here in your user ID. Okay. Now, once these topics will complete, I'll move towards your IPsec site-to-site VPN, where I will go through with the phase 1 and phase 2 exchange. I will go through what is main mode, what is aggressive mode in your IKE version 1, right? And I will basically explain you around these 11 use cases of your IPsec VPN inside your Palo Alto firewall. And guys, when I will explain this exchange process, I will basically decrypt your ESP packets. I will decrypt, and your anyone know, like, see, like how many messages they will exchange in main mode, guys, in IKE version 1? Anyone have any idea? So Rahul has told it is 6, right? And how many messages they used to exchange in quick mode? 3, right? Now Rahul, tell me one thing. Out of these 9 messages, how many messages are in clear text and how many messages are encrypted? So message number 1, 2, 3 and 4, they used to exchange a clear text. And starting from message number 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, everything is encrypted, right? I will also tell you, I will also do the decryption of these messages. I will run the advanced level debugs on the IKE manager daemon and I will take out these session keys. I think you know, I will also go through with this DH key exchange, how your Diffie-Hellman keys is created. What is SKID E? What is SKID D? Or what is SKID A? How these keys is created? How they will create the DH key? Everything I'm going to perform with the help of Wireshark captures. Okay, so I will give you a very good understanding of the VPN stuff here. And whatever 11 use case, 13 use case I have mentioned, I will try to cover couple of them on the sessions, and for the remaining I will give you the recorded videos. So what you can, because for couple of them you just need to do the practical, that's it. Once IPsec will complete, I will go through with the GlobalProtect, which is the most important topic of your Palo Alto Firewall. I will go through with the GlobalProtect connection flow, GlobalProtect connection method, and guys, we will perform all the 4 type of deployment of your GlobalProtect. And you know, for the troubleshooting point of view, you have to know the connection flow very well. Without connection flow, you cannot able to perform any type of troubleshooting on your Palo Alto Firewall for GlobalProtect. And guys, what I will also show you here, I will also decrypt all the GlobalProtect related messages, and I will show you how your GlobalProtect happens. What are the daemons involved in your GlobalProtect process, right? What is the use of REST MGR daemon? What is the use of FWeb3, which is a PHP layer? What is the use of Nginx daemon, right? What is the use of tunnel daemon, right? All such type of daemons details I will cover here in your GlobalProtect. When this part will complete, I will go through with the syslog configuration, netflow configuration, log type, dashboard, basic logging, management and reporting, right? And you know, one more topic is there. Panorama I will not cover, guys. So I will discuss the high availability, active passive high availability, configuration of active passive HA, active high availability, configuration of active HA. Then in active HA, we will perform all these 3 labs like floating IP HA lab, rfloat share HA lab, and mixed mode HA lab. So these are the HA related topics I'm going to cover, and everything from scratch. And when we will discuss this HA, I will also go through with the advanced level architecture of your high availability, how that they communicate at the daemons level, everything. Okay. And I will also run the couple of troubleshooting webinars, how we can use packet filter, packet captures of flow basic and TCP dump for doing the Palo Alto Firewall troubleshooting. So this is the course content, guys, which I'm going to cover in this particular training. Now let me just go through with the Palo Alto Firewall HA architecture. So this is today's lab, and it will take around 45 minutes to 1 hour. So let me just start. Okay, so I will go through with this architecture, but before going into this architecture, I have to do the configuration. Okay. So you know, this is the lab I'm going to use for HA. In this lab, I have a firewall 1 here and I have a firewall 2 here. Azim, you can ask your questions after the session, okay? Because right now I'm not looking on the chat, okay? So ask these questions after the session because I have to focus on the session first. And there is a group, okay? There is always a WhatsApp group for all the enrolled students where people used to discuss the doubts and other things, okay? Now, coming back to the topic. So guys, you know, in this HLab, I have firewall 1 and firewall 2. this area is my outside area and this area is my inside area and this particular area is my management area, right? I have an interface starting from Ethernet 1, Ethernet 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5, 1 by 6, and 1 by 7. And these interfaces I will use as a HA1 backup, HA2, HA2 backup, and Ethernet 1 by 7 I will use as a HA3 interface. So this HA3 interface we will use for active HA. But today I'll just configure active passive, and I will also not focus much towards the configuration and like how these things works. I will just focus towards the architecture. Okay, so because in the classes I will go through with everything from starting, like what is the use of HA, right? Like what is redundancy, everything. But here I will just focus on the architecture. So let me just make the configuration first. So this is my firewall 1, right? So you can type here set CLI config output format set. So I can able to see the commands on the set format. I'll go into the configuration mode. Now guys, if you want to do the initial configuration, you can run this command set device config system host name. So it will configure the host name. So let me just go and just configure the host name as firewall01. This is my first firewall. Then set device config system domain name. Let me configure domain name, which is lab.local. Then set device config system. By default, in the management interface of your Palo Alto Firewall VM series, they accept the IP address from DSCP, right? So we have to make the IP address as static. So I will just go configure static, then set device config system type static, then IP-address 192.168.137.10 net mask 255.255.255.0 and the default gateway, which is 192.168.137.2. Then set device config system DNS setting servers primary server 8.8.8.8, secondary server 4.2.2. I'm just using the Google server as of now. Set device config system. You can also configure NTP servers like primary NTP server address. So I will go with the NTP server like n.pool.ntp.org. You can mention here 0.in. This one I just go with the one NTP server, right? So this is the couple of configuration you have to do, and after that you can hit the commit command. Meanwhile, I'll go on my second firewall. Let me do the same here as well. Configure set device config system type static. Set device config type. Let me just put it here. IP-address 192.168.137.11 net mask 255.255.255.0. Then default gateway 192.168.137.2. Set device config host name system host name FW02. Configure the domain name as well, lab.local. And guys, I will also go through how we can configure these settings with the GUI as well. Okay, but today just a demo, so there is no GUI related stuff much. Okay, then set device config system DNS servers primary 8.8.8.8 and secondary 4.2.2.2. Go and just do the commit. Once commit will complete. So guys, I forget to mention, see, we have this particular video portal where you will get all the recorded sessions through this video portal, and somebody wants to purchase any of the recorded sessions, you can able to purchase from here. We have a website here. So this is our website where you can able to check the details. We have a 2 YouTube channels. So this is the first YouTube channel with the name of Sianets. Here you will get lots of videos on Palo Alto Firewall, F5 LTM, AWS, Panorama, right? Checkpoint, Cisco ASA, Warshucks. You can able to check out here. We have another YouTube channel with the name of Skill Inspirational Academy. Here also you will get lots of videos with regards to firewalls, F5 LTM, GTM, ASM, right? All these details, Cisco Beptel, SD-WAN, everything will be there. And this is the direct link of our portal, vncph.courses.store. From there, you can able to check how many courses are there, right? How you can able to purchase all the courses from this links. Actually, you can able to check it out. Okay. Now let me just close this. Let me take the access of firewalls now. 192.168.137.10. HTTPS 192.168.137.11. Yeah, commit is going on, so that's why it will come after some time. Meanwhile, I log in here. Username is admin and password is admin at 123. Admin, admin. So it is giving me this warning to change the default password. So old password is admin, new password is admin at 123 and admin at 123. Let me change it. I log in now. Admin, admin at 123. Here commit is still going on. No. So we have to wait because GUI of these files is little bit slow because I'm using, as I remember, I think it is on PanOS 10.2, but let me just see here. Yeah, it's a 10.0.0, right? So it is this particular device is a bit fast. So now if you want to configure the HA, right, you have to go to into this device tab. So let me first configure on my firewall 1. I'll go in this setting. I will enable the HA, so it will enable the HA logic, and we have to define this group ID, and group ID should be similar on both the devices. So let me just use here 20 description active passive HA. So you can put active passive HA deployment. I will just go with the active passive. I will enable the config sync. So whatever configuration I will do on firewall 1, it will sync that configuration automatically on firewall 2. And what is the peer HA1 IP address? So now I will use the on IP address in this way, like HA01 1.1.1 1.1.0/24, then 1.2.0/24, right? So on peer device means on firewall 2. So on firewall 2 HA1 interface, I will use 1.1.2, and the HA1 backup IP address 1.1.2.2. So this is what I have to do into this general settings. I'll go here. I will use the active passive setting in a shutdown mode. What is the meaning of this one? We will discuss in the live sessions. Priority, guys. So if you want to configure this firewall 1 as an active device and firewall 2 as a passive device, then you have to configure the priority which is less. So let me just go and configure the priority which is 10 here. I'll enable the heartbeat backup. Preemption is not required in active passive HA. I will use the timers in a default. Whatever I will discuss, like if you want to use these aggressive timers or advanced mode, what is the meaning of all these timers, but here I will not cover. Now HA configuration, because in the hardware box, guys, whenever you will work with the hardware devices of Palo Alto Firewall, if I'll say like Palo Alto Firewall 800 series box or 1400 series box or 3200 series box or like 5200 series 34 or 54, right? All these box, they have a dedicated HA1 interface and they have a dedicated HA2 interface. These two interface are there. These are the two interface is present. HA1 interface is a part of your management plane and HA2 interface is a part of data plane, and these two interfaces are available. But this is my virtual device. In virtual device, we are not having any type of dedicated HA interface. So what we have to do, we have to use our data interface as a HA interfaces, because we can also able to use these interfaces as a high availability interfaces. Okay, so I will go on Ethernet 1 by 3. I'll go and put the comment like HA1 interface. I will change the type as HA. I'll make this interface up, click on OK. Ethernet 1 by 4, I'll go here. This is my HA1 backup. HA. If you want to link state auto will also work fine. Then Ethernet 1 by 5, this is the HA2 interface. Then we have Ethernet 1 by 6, which is a HA2 backup. So first we have to change this these data interfaces as HA interface, and after that we can utilize these interfaces here into my HA communication tab. I'll go here and HA1 interface I want to use as Ethernet 1 by 3. I can also use management interface, but management interface I will use as a heartbeat backup. Okay. So I'll go here and I will configure 1.1.1 slash IP address and net mask is 255.255.255.0. Gateway is not needed because they are just directly connected. HA1 backup is my Ethernet 1 by 4 interface, which is having IP address 1.1.2.1. Then we have HA2 Ethernet 1 by 5. It is having 1.1.3.1, and transport type I will use here UDP. Why I'm using UDP? There's a reason for that, and we will discuss that reason as well. Then here I will configure Ethernet 1 by 6 and 1.1.4.1. Link and path monitoring I will not cover as of now. Okay, so I have done the configuration here. Now let me just go here for a minute. Let me take the access of my first firewall, and let me try to take the access of my second firewall as well. I am accepting the keys because I will just remove from here. I will access the firewalls here, so I will get the logs in the colored format. Okay, 11 I will access in a while. So I'll go here. Let me first access via GUI. I have to change the default password, and after that I can get the access. Login, username is admin, password is admin, which is the default one. Old password is admin, admin add 123, 2 3, admin add 1 2 3. Change the password. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Log in here again. Admin. Admin at 123. Now let me go here. Let me take the access of 11 as well. It's coming up, so we have to wait. Okay, so this is my firewall one, right? I have the access of my firewall one. I will run this command set CLI config output format and set. I'll go into this config mode. Now, so device config, high availability. So to just do the configuration as SEP, I'm just copying this CLI. So it is a bit slow today, not sure why. Network interface Ethernet. So I will change the interface type directly using this CLI. Okay, so this is how we can also increase our performance in the production environment when we are working with the configuration and all, right? So right now, if you will go here in my network tab right now, you can see all these interfaces are in default configuration. So I'll simply go here. I'll copy this configuration. I'll go on my firewall 2. Let me increase the size little bit. Configure, and I'll just type these commands directly. And now if you will go here, if you will refresh, this task is done. Now if you will go into device tab into HA, right now you can see we don't have any type of HA configuration. Right now let's do this HA configuration from here. So there is a proper order for that. You can copy this particular statements, Control X, go here. Group ID is 20, active passive HA. Peer IP address you have to change. You have to, because this configuration we are doing on firewall 2, so we have to define the peer IP address of firewall 1. And after that, IP address on Ethernet 1 by 3 of firewall 2 is 1.1.1.2. On Ethernet 1 by 4 interface is 2.2. On Ethernet 5, 3.2. On Ethernet 6, it's 4.2. Device priority, I will go with the 100 here. Control X. Go here. Now you can just copy till here. And you can just directly paste. So one task is done. Now go here and copy this as well. And now if you will go here, refresh, you can see everything is configured, right? So this is how we can utilize the CLI stuff to just enhance our performance. I'm just double checking all the things. 1.1.2, 1.1.2.2, 4.2, 3.2. Things are good here. In general setting, group ID 20, peer H1 IP 1.1.1, and here I have 1.1.2 and 1.1.2.2. Everything looks good to me. Now what we can do, we can go here and do the commit. We can go here and do the commit. Commit is started. I'll go here, exit out, type here debug high availability on. I will just run at the debug level as of now. We can also try at the dump level. We can get lots of things, and you can type this one tail follow yes mplog hagent.log. Here we can able to see the live logs. Exit. Here also you can issue the same thing. Tail follow yes mplog hagent.log. And if you guys know how you can able to read these logs, actually, if you know how you can able to read these logs of HH and daemon, whatever the HA related problems you will face in the production environment, you can able to solve. You can able to solve them easily. Okay. So we have to wait until this commit will complete, because right now it is at 0% here and 0% here. It will take some time. Why it is taking some time? Because I'm running the debugs as well here. So that is the reason. Okay. So we have to wait. It is at 55%. Here 98%. That's good. Now they will go through with all the HA election process and all. And we can able to track the entire process here. And I will show you this part. Now you can see they've started the HA related stuff from here. Let's wait here. Let's go through with the entire process. They've actioned the hello messages, then the capability messages, right? I will go through what is the hello message, what is the meaning of all this content. What is the meaning of this config comparison, right? Syspear is down, everything. The most important part is this message, actually. This one, capability messages. Guys, tell me one thing, if you have some experience with regards to HA. Let's take an example. I have a Palo Alto Firewall 1 here, or I have a Firewall 2, like not Palo Alto, any general firewall. Let's suppose this Firewall 1 is a 820 and Firewall 2 is a 850. Do I able to configure the HA? No, never, right? Because if you want to configure the HA, there is some requirement, there are some prerequisite, means they have some hardware related requirements. They have some requirement at the software level, and they have some requirement at the license level. And now tell me one thing, let's suppose it's a 820 and it is running PAN-OS 10.0.0, and this is 850 and it is running PAN-OS 11.1.0. How this firewall 1 or firewall 2 know regarding this operating system or regarding this model? Because they exchange this capability message. They are sharing their capabilities with each other. Okay, so because I have seen this message, so that's why I have given this example, right? They will exchange the entire capabilities of each other. Okay, and that's how they get to know that detail. Just remember. 99%, it's done. It's done. You can go into dashboard, visits, system, high availability, into firewall 2, systems, high availability, and you can see HA has been configured. This firewall, one is an active firewall and firewall is a passive. See, they are not doing the config synchronization. So the very first time when you will basically do the HA configuration, you have to click on sync to the peer. Only first time you have to do. And after that, whenever they will basically, if you will restart or whatever you will do, they will do the automatic synchronization. This particular sync you have to initiate automatically, just you have to initiate manually just once when you will configure the HA first time. Okay, now and when they are exchanging this capability messages, actually here they are exchanging these TLVs. These are the HA libraries. Okay, and they had these libraries has a specific code on it. These are the some type of RFC written by the HA logic inside your PAN OS, and they will basically understand these codes to identify the model details and all. Okay, we can have a control to basically, I can able to show you the configuration miss. I will do the config mismatch and I will show you how they can able to communicate. Now see, this is the daemons. I will not go through with the logs today. Okay, I have just shown you these logs now because here we have done this particular thing just to understand this HA architecture. Now I'm just coming to my main topic of today's session. Today's whatever we have done so far is just a configuration. Now let's take an example. This is my firewall 1 and this is my firewall 2. And guys, this is a Palo Alto firewall, right? So in Palo Alto firewall, we have a management plane. Management plane we are having just to do the management related stuff. And we have a data plane. And in Palo Alto firewall, this particular data plane, what it used to do, it used to perform it is the plane who process the user's traffic. Whenever any user sends any type of traffic, it is processed by the data plane. So we have a management plane and we have a data plane. Now guys, each plane, management plane and data plane, they have couple of daemons or couple of processes. What is the daemon? Let me give you the best example of these daemons. If you will go here, if you will click on task manager of your Windows, go into the service tab. These are the different services running. Why we have these services? To perform some different tasks, right? Like we have this service pan GPS. This is the Palo Alto GlobalProtect service. See, whenever you will run the GlobalProtect in your Windows machine or in your Mac machine, you can able to see this pan GPS service. And in the similar way, we have other services as well, right? We have a lots of services here. Why these services we are having? Because these services we are having, that is the main reason we can able to run multiple things, multiple application in your Windows, right? In the similar way, inside your Palo Alto firewall, we do have a same type of services. If you will run this command, so system software status, if you will issue this command, you can able to see all the daemons. See, right now we have a routed daemon. This daemon will take care of the routing related things. We have a REST manager, which is responsible for your global protect. We have a management server who will basically take care of the management related stuff like your commit process, all these things. We have master D. This is the main daemon who controls all the other processes or other daemons. We have a key manager, right? In the similar way, you can able to see we have this HA agent daemon. HA agent, this daemon, who is taking care of your HA related task. Okay, then we have a DHA daemon. Why these daemons we are having? Because they are the daemons who will control different tasks. Let's take an example, routing. When you will configure the routing, now to maintain the logic of routing, right? To manage the routing table, routed daemon will help you on that. Okay. We have a this see we have a we can able to take the SSH because SSHD service is running. SSL MGR to basically take care of the SSL related task. SSL VPN to when we will implement the GlobalProtect for the clientless GlobalProtect, right? That time this SSL VPN daemon involves tunnel D. So this particular daemon is a part of data plane. I will go through with these daemons. Don't worry. Okay. Now, because these are the core processes who handle the different logics inside your Palo Alto Firewall. So, we have a couple of daemons which are running at the management plane, and we have a couple of daemons which we are running at the data plane. So data plane related daemons will basically help you what are the activities we have to perform at the data plane. So this data plane related daemon involves on these activities. We have a management plane daemon. So this particular management plane have lots of daemons who will take care of the management related stuff. Okay. I can tell you a very simple thing. See, whenever you will log in your Palo Alto Firewall, and when you used to log in your firewall, you used to enter the username. Let's take an example. You have logged in as a username admin and password is admin at 123. Let's take an example. Now, who will validate these particular username and password? There is a one daemon called authd, authentication daemon who will involve in this. And if you will check the logs of authentication daemon, you can able to see. Let me just show you one simple example for that. And after that, I'll come to here. I will run this command here, tail follow yes, mplog authd.log. And if I will go here on my putty here, let me take the SHS of my Palo Alto Firewall 192.168, or I have to first go to with this. Let me load here 192.168.137.10. Let me just log in. Accept. Let me enter the username as admin and password. Let me enter something else. And I have entered the wrong password. And if somebody is entering the wrong password, you are getting the logging events failed here. And you can easily troubleshoot that issue if somebody is entering the wrong password. Same applies to your GlobalProtect as well. If in your GlobalProtect somebody is entering the wrong password, you can just validate this daemon log file and you can able to tell the answer. Okay. If I will enter the correct password, let me try that one. I got the success here. And right now you are see dummy admin profile means we have one admin profile. If you are using LDAP and all, then you can able to see the LDAP related stuff as well. Okay. So, if you know the daemons, you can able to troubleshoot the issues very easily. But I have seen people is not aware about these processes and all. Okay. Now, so guys, with regards to your high availability, in high availability, basically, we have one daemon, which is a part of your management plane, which is system daemon. And this system daemon is a mother daemon of all the daemon processes. Means every daemon has a connection through system daemon. Means system daemon is controlling all the other daemons. Means every daemon communicate with the sysd. Okay, and we have a HA agent, which this HA agent daemon will maintain the high availability logic inside your Palo Alto firewall. Now, what used to happen basically? See, system daemon from firewall 1 will communicate with the system daemon on your firewall 2 on the port number TCP 28260 via HA1 interface. And they will create two connections. One TCP connection from firewall 1 to firewall 2 and another TCP connection from firewall 2 to firewall 1. Now let's try to verify that particular connection will be there or not. So you can go here, or before that I'll go on my topology and let me run the captures on Ethernet 1x3 interface. I'm running these captures so we can also able to see these particular logs on the Wireshark. If you will notice here, there is a communication happening on port number 28260. You can see 28260, right? 28260, right? Then there is communication at the ping level as well, and there is a one more communication is happening between 28260 and you will also see 28769. 28769, right? Now let's try to validate this part first, because you know your system daemon is communicating on port number 28260 and HA agent is communicating from firewall 1 to firewall 2 on port number 28769. So they will create one TCP connection and they will also create one raw connection. What is this raw connection? Raw connection they will create so they can basically send the ICMP ping messages to just track the liveliness of this device, means this device is live or not. So they will exchange this ICMP messages, and you can see there's a couple of ICMP messages going on. These messages they are exchanging through this raw connection only. And if you want to validate this communication is happening properly, you have to type one command: show netstat numeric yes match 1.1.1.2. And now you can able to see, or if you can also try this one 1.1.1 till here. Now if you will notice here, basically we have a one connection on 28260 and 28260. This is the ICMP connection. This is the connection they have created just for the SysD communication. It is in established state, and you know this 1.1.1 IP address we have configured on HA1 interface. HA1 interface we are having for exchanging the control messages. Okay, control connections like your configuration synchronization, capability messages, hello messages, right? Keep alive messages, all these messages we will exchange through this HA1 interface only. Apart from these two connections, there is a one more connection is created on port number 28769, right? This is a connection they have created for HA agent daemon. One TCP connection. And there is a one more connection they have created, which is a raw connection for exchanging these ICMP hello message, or I can say for exchanging the keep alive messages. Okay. So that's how we can basically validate. And whatever I had designed here with regards to this HA1 interface and with regards to this system daemon, it's true. We have seen they are communicating properly. If there is any type of communication is like is failing between both the firewalls, then your HA will not come. And if you don't know this architecture, you cannot able to troubleshoot these issues, because you will not able to find the things in the traffic logs or the system logs for HA. You have, if you know these commands, then only you can able to troubleshoot. Now we have another interface, which is HA1 backup. See, HA1 backup interface is just a backup interface of your HA1. It is not mandatory to have this HA1 backup, but it's good to have. We will configure this HA1 backup so we can basically avoid the split brain situation. And in your HA interviews, they will ask what is split brain scenario, what is a split brain situation, what is a split brain situation. That type of questions you may face in the interviews. And to basically protect from a split brain situation, and split brain, what happens, your firewall 1 will also act as active firewall, and your firewall 2 also act as active firewall. Now whatever downstream switches we are having, or upstream switches we are having, they are not sure they have to forward the data here or they have to forward the data here. Because when this is in active and this is in passive, that time in your layer 3 processing or layer 2 processing, only this firewall will participate. This firewall will not participate at all. Okay, just remember, means if somebody sends the ARP request over this firewall, he will simply drop that packet, he will not reply. Okay, now, and guys, now what is the major difference between HA1 and HA1 backup interface? So the main difference between both of these interface, see, HA1 interface can perform all the tasks of your HA1 interface except the config sync. Config synchronization we will always do from the HA1. Okay, and HA1 is mandatory to configure. Without HA1, we cannot able to establish the HA properly. Just remember. Okay. Now, I'll go here just to validate the connection for 1.1.2. Now check here. HA1, this HA1 backup interface communicate. This HA agent will also communicate through the HA agent on firewall 2 via HA1 backup on port number 28770, and they will also maintain one raw connection just to exchange the keep alive messages. So if you will go here, you can see they have created one connection on 28770, which is a TCP connection in established state, right? And there is a one raw connection. This is the raw connection. Okay, because you know here we are also getting other connection details. If I can go like this, then we will only get these connections. See this one. See, this is, it is coming because it's not a proper filter. So if you want to make a proper filter, you can also go in this way. 28770, then you will get properly. It is established. It means there is a proper communication through this HA1 backup as well. Okay, now guys, if I will type this command 1.1.3, you will not able to get anything. Now you may ask why we are not able to see anything for HA2 related stuff, right? Because HA2 we are also having HA2 and HA2 backup, because you know here we are using transport communication as UDP, and UDP is a connectionless protocol, right? And everyone know UDP is a connectionless protocol, so there is no connection for that in the net stat table. Okay, just remember, because in netstate it just track the TCP connections only. Just remember. And now I am also using this management interface as a heartbeat backup. If you remember here, if I'll go here and I have configured this heartbeat backup, right? Let's wait here, it is refreshing. See, heartbeat backup is enabled means, see, if my HA1 interface will fail or HA1 backup interface will also fail, then I will use my management interface to exchange the ICMP hello messages, or I can use this particular management interface to exchange the keep alive messages. So if you will go and if you will check this connection on 192.168.137.11, you can able to see there is a one TCP communication is happening on 28771 and there's a one raw connection just to exchange the heartbeat messages or the keep alive messages to avoid the split brain situation. Okay, so this is how the HA architectures available inside your Palo Alto firewall. Now, one more thing, you can also check the logs of PAN-DHA daemon, but this is related to data plane, and we are not having any type of configuration at data plane, so we will not able to get much thing. Just remember, we will not able to see much thing. If I can type this command tail follow yes mplog PAN-DHA dot log, see, there's no much thing here basically, because we have not configured any data plane. Now I may ask one question, guys. In your Palo Alto firewall, basically, they used to do the synchronization of session table. They used to synchronize, they used to do the session sync between active to passive. They used to basically synchronize the ARP table from active to passive. Why they are basically, or how they are doing that synchronization? Anyone have any idea on this? And let me tell you, this session table or ARP table, it's a part of your data plane, because it's a part of data plane. And that is the main reason we, apart from this management plane, we have created this daemon, which is PAN-DHA, PAN-DF-DHA on your Palo Alto firewall to exchange this particular detail to do the session synchronization. Okay, majorly. Because your architecture looks like this. Okay, see this HA1 interface part of management plane, we will, it's a layer 3 interface we will use for config synchronization, exchange heartbeat messages and hello messages, and your data plane used for session synchronization, forwarding table synchronization, IPsec security association synchronization, and ARP table synchronization. It's a layer 2 or layer 3 link. Okay, just remember. So because HA is a big class, I used to take around 2 classes to explain everything. In controlling through HA1, we will exchange hello messages, heartbeat messages, management plane sync for routing, user ID information, certificates, right? Then HA2 for session synchronization, forwarding table, IPsec assay, ARP tables, right? How we can enable use this link monitoring, what is the failover trigger condition, what is the states of your active passive, what is active, what is suspended, then passive, then non-functional, right? Then split brains, all these things I used to cover in your live sessions actually. So it's a big class actually. I will go through with couple of diagrams, I will go through with all such type of details, because it's a big class. I used to take around 2 classes generally. First I build your mind towards the HA, right? I will go through with all the information why we need HA, right? What is the issues we will use to have, what is the HA overview, right? how your HA interface is connected, right? This is how your HA1 and HA2 interface is connected in the production environment, right? In the hardware box. What are the prerequisite for high availability? So everything I'm going to cover in your live classes. Okay. Now, let me show you one more thing, because I have touched here management plane and data plane. So let me just show you one thing with regards to this, with regards to the daemon level stuff, how the Palo Alto Firewall management plane and the data plane have all these daemons related stuff. And then after that, we will bind it up. Okay. Will take on around 1-2 minutes. It's loading. I'm stopping my Wireshark captures. So if you will see this particular diagram here, in this diagram, if you have seen this part, basically, see, we have a master daemon. So one core of your master daemon is a part of data plane, and one core of your master daemon is a part of management plane. This is the first daemon who will start first, and after that, when this daemon will start, it will basically may send a request, or it will initialize the system daemon. And once system daemon is initialized, now it will basically initialize all the other daemon. Means master daemon will send the command to system daemon, and system daemon will send the signal towards other daemons. Because all the daemons like REST manager, VR agent, H agent, where receiver, crypto D, routed, right? sysd agent, F manager, interface manager, DSCPD, DNS proxy, authd, IK manager, key manager, dagger, right? All but these particular daemons have a connectivity through the system daemon on port number 28260. Okay. This system daemon will also have a connectivity with the data plane daemons like your tunnel D, sysd agent, master D core, supervisor daemon, pen DHA, EHMON, then BRD agent, MP relay, PANCOM, and the PAN task. These are the daemons who is a part of your data plane. Okay, so that's how they used to communicate, and that's how they have a connectivity with each other. Okay, because this is just for the information only. That's it. Now, guys, one more last time, let me just tell you this particular training, as I have mentioned, it's a fast track batch. So we have total 10 classes, each class of minimum 4 hours. So if you can able to join for this much long class, then only you can enroll for this training, because I don't want you will stopping me during the sessions. Okay, it's a minimum of 4 hours. It will go around 4 hours to 5 hours of session, starting from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. IST. Okay, and there is a 1 hour of gap between this particular duration. And this batch I will start from 29th of June. It's a weekends batch, and fees for this particular training is 7,000 INR for Indian students and 150 USD for international students. Okay, that's it, guys. If you have any type of other questions, right, you can take the screenshot, or you can take the picture of these particular contact numbers. You can reach out to us. This number belongs to me, so you can also reach out to me directly, and I will help you with your queries.